Wow. That is great. Did you guys hear that in the back? All right. First of all, good evening. This is our first council meeting of the year, and what a beautiful crowd! And I got a beautiful guest next to me, Caleb Davis. He is the mayor for a day, so he's going to help us out up here in the front. All right. Let's go ahead and stand up. And Jimmy Wilson, pastor of First Baptist Church, is going to lead us in the blessing, in the prayer.
Let's join our hearts together in prayer. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for the city of Loganville. Thank you for your many, many blessings upon our city. Thank you for our mayor. Just pray your blessings upon him and his family, upon all of our city officials, all our department heads, our city council. Bless our police and fire, Lord, just every day, Lord, they need your help and protection, and just thank you so much, Lord, for loving us. I pray your blessing upon all the proceedings that will take place tonight. And just thank you for your love and blessing upon our city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Let's go ahead and remain standing. Hands over your heart. Face the flag. And my mayor for a day is going to lead us in the pledge.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you so much. Caleb, way to go. First off, before I get started, I want to recognize a few people that are here. I want to recognize, first of all, our former mayor, Renee Otterman is here, and she's going to get a chance to talk about her in just a few minutes, but I just want to recognize her. Also, Josie Cruz is here. She's running for Congress District 4. She's going to talk about her issues, her candidate too. And we also got, where's the candidate for Solicitor District Attorney? There he is. We got Randy over here, so thank you so much for coming to our meeting tonight. I'm going to go ahead, before we adopt the agenda, I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to add a proclamation for School Choice Week to the agenda. So I'm asking for a motion to add School Choice Week proclamation to the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All right, let me show it to you real quick, because they forgot to put it. Basically, it is a, don't know if you want to see it. Stand forward. Good. All right, so we have a second. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, the agenda has been adopted. Now we're coming to mayor and council items. These are consent agenda items that we discussed on the work session on Monday, and I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a motion. Second. We have a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, the consent agenda has been adopted, has been passed. Coming down to committee/department reports, planning and development, Chairman Skip Elias.
All we have this month is some housekeeping. We need to adopt the 2020 Construction Code Resolution. The state legislature has made some changes. The resolution is in your packet, and I would ask that we have a motion and we approve going to the new state standards.
All right, so we have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we do that.
Okay. Do we have a second? Any discussion? Any discussion from the audience about this topic? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, it's been approved.
Very good, we appreciate it. And secondly, in case we do happen to forget it, today is Law Enforcement Day.
Yes.
And please don't forget to thank the folks who protect us for the work that they do, and then leaving home in the morning and hoping they'll come back at night. So with that said, thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman Skip Lyles. Coming down to Finance/Human Resources, Chairwoman Ann Hudsinger.
Mr. Mayor, all of my items were on the consent agenda, so I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Coming down to Public Safety, Chairman Table.
Thank you, Mayor. On that note that Skip just mentioned, I wanted to recognize the police and fire. Barbara Forrester, are you in the crowd?
Back here.
Barbara, how many police calls did our police department respond to last year? Give me a guess.
I have no idea, probably about 30,000 or better.
Wow, that's really good. 32,038 calls last year. Now, what is a call? Call for service, traffic stops, building checks, anything that takes an officer's time outside of routine patrol. And we have open record requests, 5,500 open records requests. That is 2,600 a month, 88 calls a day. And average response time, 4 minutes. So remember that when you get complaining about taxes, a lot of it goes to public safety, it's 4 minutes response time, so. Now, my fire guys, 2,200 calls, 6.03 minute response times. Fantastic, guys. You guys do a great job. Really proud of you. So, the other thing I have tonight is, I got a present for someone that's leaving us. Pass that down. All the way down to the end. Now, Skip Bilal is leaving us tonight, and we got you something else we'll give you later. But Skip, the mayor, and I have served many, many years together.
Been a while.
I've served 6 with you. I've sat next to you at the old building for 4. A lot of people who don't come to the meetings, we've gone round and round, right, Skip?
At times.
No punches were thrown, no punches. But the mayor and Skip would battle, me and Skip would battle, but we've come a long way. You were very instrumental to me when I first started. I sat next to you for 4 years. You're a good counselor. I'm gonna miss you. Now, when you open that up, show everybody. Now, either it's gonna be the funniest present in the world, or 4 people will get it. Should I move? It's not ticketed.
If you guys don't mind, could I ask Ann to open that? I'm a little afraid. Be afraid. Be afraid.
No. Open it up.
May I?
Now, when you ride off into the sunset, I want you to think of your mayor and everybody's favorite councilman, JB. Look at that. Turn it over, turn it over. No, turn it off. Look at that. See, you got the mayor's face on there. You got my face on there. So if you feel like punching the mayor, you can punch him. You want to punch me, punch me. I like that, very nice. That's good. Thank you, Skip, for having me.
And I've got to tell you, one thing that I've told every congressman, every council member that's asked my opinion, congressman too, hell, they need to hear this better than we do, is after all the fighting and after all the questions are answered, vote your conscience.
That's right.
That's all you got. It's just the way life is in politics. I also share with them at times that as you go through a difficult situation in politics, whatever it might be, please be aware, in our situation, you can fight, you can scream, you can cry, you can walk out as I have a couple of times, Ray. But,
You brought it up.
but if you don't have your full votes, all you can do is cry and pout and walk out. But the advice I give is, you lay it down and go to the next issue, because that issue's done. So, just my thoughts for tonight. Thank you. I like that. But did you see who's on top? Just kidding.
And Mayor, that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you. All right, coming down to Public Utilities/Transportation, Chairman Danforth.
I have nothing to report on tonight, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you so much. Public Works/Utilities, Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Mayor, I have nothing to report tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Economic Development, Chairwoman Lisa Dewberry.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to make sure everybody knows that we listened to you after the last public hearing last month, and we have contracted with a company called Haddow and Associates. You probably already know this by reading the paper today, but we listened to you. They're doing a study for us. It's going to be ready in about 45 days. Should come in about the same time as the DRI, and then we'll be able to, get started again on downtown development, but just know that we did hear you. And the mayor's gonna take, open up the floor for questions on the downtown development at the end of the meeting.
After we conclude, the floor is all yours. All right?
And that's all I have.
Is it fair to say?
Yes, go.
That we're planning another public meeting in February, or you guys are. Is that a fair statement? March?
Yeah, when you get studies back, we'll get started.
That's fair. Okay, gotta have the facts.
All right, thank you so much, Chairwoman Lisa Newberry. Coming down to City Manager's report, Danny Robbins.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Ford forgot to mention that we received the notice to proceed on the C.S. Lloyd section. This is the contract, but. we'll
I
get-
tried to read it, but it was so big.
Yeah. As soon as we get Robin to sign it, I've already signed it, we'll get the notice to proceed on our side, so. And the mayor, only other thing I had is your library board, appointment.
All right, that's something that we're gonna vote on tonight. As you know, Ann Jones has been serving in the library board for about 34 years, and she has resigned as of this year, and I have nominated Lee Muncy. She's a Loganville resident, and I'm going to ask for a motion to accept her nomination. Lee Muncy.
I'll make the motion.
Lisa Newberry has a motion for Lee Muncy.
Second?
We have the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, Lee Muncy has been appointed for the library board.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you so much. Coming down to see Attorney Butterway.
I have no actionable items this month.
All right, thank you, thank you. Now, here comes the fun part. This is the part that I've been looking forward to. All right, we're gonna do a proclamation real quick for school choice. This is something that was added last minute, that the council voted on it. This is for School Choice Week for Loganville. And then I also want a young man, mayor for a day to join me. How about that? Come on, come on, let's get it. All right. All right, here's a proclamation for Loganville School Choice Week. Whereas all children in Loganville should have access to highest quality education possible. And whereas Loganville recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in Loganville to be successful adults. And whereas quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of Loganville. And whereas Loganville is home to a multitude of excellent education options from which parents can choose for their children. And whereas education primarily not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhance the vibrancy of our community. And whereas our area has many high-quality teaching professionals who are committed to educating our children. And whereas School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, I, Ray Martinez, do hereby recognize January 26th through February 1st, 2020 as Loganville School Choice Week, and I could call this observance to the attention of all citizens. Signed, Ray Martinez, your mayor. That's for school choice. And I need a picture for me to send. Sharon, you got a picture already? For me to send it to the good. All right. And this is just dear to my heart. It really is. I love being mayor, and this is one of the reasons why I love being mayor. It is just an inspiration to me whenever a young man wants to be part of our community. So I've started kind of like a program where we're going to have young men and women, young boys and girls, become mayor for a day. And this young man, where's Kyle? This young man was here on Tuesday, right? Monday. And he got to meet everybody in Loganville. That's part of becoming a mayor for a day. So there's Mr. Caleb. He was doing the gavel. By the way, Caleb is a student at Cooper Elementary. And he is just excited to be mayor for a day. And that vest was a little heavy, wasn't it? City of Loganville, Office of the Mayor, Certificate of Honor. Let it be hereby be known that on this day, I, Ray Martinez, Mayor of the City of Loganville, do recognize Caleb Scott Davis as Honorary Mayor for a day, Loganville, January 9, 2020. Congratulations.
I have also a present for Caleb. And I'll just read it to you and everybody all at the same time, okay? Know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the fidelity and abilities of Caleb Scott Davis, I do this day bestow upon him the title of Honorary Police Officer, with all the rights, responsibilities, and privileges thereof. This appointment is a testament to his support for all the public safety personnel, and due to his studious and courteous conduct with his family, his classmates, and all citizens of our community. His deportment is in the highest traditions of law enforcement service and is hereby recognized as such with this public proclamation given under my hand and sealed this 9th day of January 2020 and signed by myself, Police Chief, and my Assistant Police Chief, T. Lowry. Woo!
All right. Chief?
Yeah, you'll be on call next week.
Chief?
Yes.
Does Caleb get it done?
Right after the first one to call.
Scott? Scott? No one get it done?
All right.
Yes.
The city of Loganville would like to present an application to fill files in regular recognition of your outstanding service, commitment, and dedication to the city of Loganville. As a council member from 2007 to 2009, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much. This is a sideline. I'm full of bashful, so not like to hold myself.
Okay, I got some inside information back on you. And so the council and the mayor and us decided to go together and give you a certificate for racing around the Nassau track for 3 laps. And then we also got your gift card, and you can do that anytime you want to, but it's a trip around the Nassau track in Hampton, Georgia. 3 laps around the district.
So they're trying to kill me.
Like here.
Thank you, Hud. I have done this once before, and I went with a friend. He didn't know this, but I went with a friend, and he'd gone twice before. This was my first time. And he had a hot lap of 138,
Well, we want to report.
and I did 142. And he's still mad. However, I did get brought in a lap early because they said I wouldn't listen to what they were telling me over the video.
You better listen to this, it's that 3 laps.
I said, I was driving, I wasn't listening to nothing. But anyway, thank you very much. I look forward to that, that's great. We'll have to call some extra help down there to help me get in the car. Those cars are not built for big guys. Just tell them they're not. Thank you very much. And you know, I gotta tell you, I know I don't have any time, but this is not about me, and I understand that. But this is bittersweet. I love this stuff. I really do. Some people say, well, you like it when you have to do what you gotta do. Well, you do what you gotta do. If you have to just make easy decisions, you're in the wrong place. There are some tough decisions to be made. You just have to make them with all the knowledge and all the caring that you got you so, and then vote your conscience. So appreciate it. Thank you everybody for being here, especially for me tonight.
Skip from both staff and myself, you listening? Yeah. He's not listening. So on behalf of the department heads and myself, thank you for working with you. You are a straight shooter. I know sometimes we elected officials, they sometimes want to wave one way or the other, but you've always told me, if I say no, it's always been no in here, and if it's been yes, it's always been yes in here. So that it's easy to work for somebody like that. So we, as a staff, thank you for your service.
Oh, and I forgot to announce that we have cake and punch for Skip after the meeting is over with, and in the hallways, if anyone will stay for cake and punch, they're welcome to.
I'm available to be punched.
For Skip.
I'm married, I'm used to it. But I do appreciate everybody putting up with me. I heard through the grapevine, and obviously it might be true, it might not be true, that they're gonna play some special music here tonight. Yeah, the title that I heard through the grapevine was, The SOB is gone.
Actually, we're gonna sing happy birthday so we can leave.
All right, thanks again, Skip. All right, now, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn the old business. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, good job, Mayor. Very good. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to open up new business. Not yet. Oh, okay. So, go ahead, we're gonna swear you guys in. The 3 candidates are 3 folks.
When we work again, Honorary.
Oh, did you invite your wife?
For those of you who don't know me, I'm the city attorney. My name is Robin Webb. This is only the second time I have sworn in an elected official for the city of Loganville. The first time, Danny Ford asked me to last year, and I think I told you at the time, I had to do a lot of research. Am I actually qualified to do this? And it turns out I am. That law degree is worth something. Yeah. But I, just want to take a brief moment, first of all, to thank you, Jay, and the other two who are being sworn in this evening for giving me the honor of swearing you all in. But I also want to say thank you to the people that are being sworn in tonight and the other elected officials and to Skip for your service as elected officials. I don't think it's a huge public service, and I don't think it's always viewed that way. And I think I can speak on behalf of all the citizens that are here and in the city of Loganville that it's much appreciated, your service to the city. Particularly in the times we're living in now, I think it's even more challenging to be elected and to serve your office and the citizens with the integrity, the thoughtfulness, and the deliberation that not only this mayor and council, but all the mayor and council members who have sat before you all. The entire time I've been the city attorney, it has been an honor and a pleasure to serve the mayor and council and the city because of the deliberate nature with which they think about the issues before them, and always have you, the citizens, before anything else. So, again, it is my pleasure to be up here to swear you all in. And first comes Jay. I guess I'll come this way. Okay, and then you will repeat after me. And I did just become a minister and married 2 couples, so I'm getting a little better at the repeat after me part. The first time I did it, I did the whole thing, and the groom said, "Wait, you have to slow down. I can't remember all of it." Okay. I, Jay Boland, do solemnly swear that I will in all respects observe the provisions of the Constitution. Sure. Observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America, the state of Georgia, the charter and ordinances of the city of Loganville, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of council member. So help me God. So it's official, you're sworn in for another term.
I just have a few words. I've been practicing this speech probably 300 times in my house, and I'll probably still screw it up. I would like to thank the voters because without you, I wouldn't be here. I want you to know I put the work in. I knocked on over 700 doors, numerous HOA meetings, and all the community forums. Running for election or re-election is hard work. You can't just put signs out and hope people will vote for you. I want to thank my wife for putting up with me during the campaign and helping me with my Facebook page, along with creating and designing my signs. My son Jake, he kept a great notebook of where all my signs were, because at the end I got a little crazy and I didn't plan on, He stood out with me until 6:56 the night of the election, waving signs, encouraging people to vote for his dad. My mom's here from Syracuse, New York. There's a reason I'm getting teary, but I gotta get through it. Thank you to my mother-in-law for being a big supporter. Penny, stand up. You probably see her at the town green dancing. She was always at the Women's Club of Publix in aisle 4. She'd always let people know her favorite son-in-law was running for city council. I want to thank Christy Ash and her professionalism and her staff. It's a lot of work to do early voting and on the day of the election. First class, Christy. We all got your back. We got a great team up here. We're keeping the band together. The citizens, in my opinion, got it right. We're just adding a new bass player, and that's going to be Bill Duvall. I'm very impressed with Bill Duvall's hard work. I don't know Bill that well, but we ran into each other a few times out on the campaign trail. And one Huntington Ridge story I'll tell you. It's about 125 degrees out. 6 hours we were out there, there was 40 houses left, and we were full, we were done. We looked at each other and said, let's do it, and we pushed through. He's gonna be a great addition to the team. Now.
This goes out to Jay Stapp, who we lost on October 15th of 2019. This win is dedicated to him.
Not a big crybaby, that's just tough.
Yeah.
I, Linda Dodd, do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Constitution
of the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Georgia,
the state of Georgia,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of Loganville,
of the city of Loganville,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of council member.
of the office of council.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
Good job.
I don't have a long speech like Jay. I just want to thank my family for supporting me. I also want to thank the council members and Danny Roberts for encouraging me to run again. And I thank the citizens for their votes and voting me back in and having done the 4 years. I try to do my best. I try to do what I think is good for the city of Loganville. So I appreciate your help. I appreciate all the people that work for us and for Loganville because they do a fantastic job. And Christy, I go along with Jay. You did an excellent job in voting. I know it wasn't an easy time this year, but we appreciate you. And I think Bill's going to be a great asset to our board. So thank y'all.
I, William Bill Duval, do solemnly swear that I will in all respects observe the provisions of the Constitution of the United States of America, the state of Georgia, the charter and ordinances of the city of Loganville, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of council member. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I did want to say a few things. First off, I started this pursuit of city council back in August and, or maybe July, I guess. And I certainly could not have gotten off the ground and started that without the love, support, encouragement of my wife, Stephanie, and of course, the support of my family. And I'm so glad to have some of my family with me here tonight. As most of you know, this is my first venture into the political arena, and certainly have a lot to look forward to. And it's been a pleasure trying to get to know some of the elected officials, and also, I will say, get to know the whole process. One of the things, there's a couple of things that happened over the course of time that I like to talk about is we had the forum. So I know Skip and Danny came up to me right off the start and said, hey, get ready, we're gonna have this forum, it's gonna be in the chamber. Chamber's gonna host it, we're gonna be here in the city chambers, we're gonna have, all the candidates will be up there and they're asking questions, that type of thing. And yeah, that went off real well. I mean, certainly it was my first opportunity at that type of forum. But what was special about that night is my wife actually was not there that night. My wife was actually with my daughter, who you just saw, and baby Lionel, who was born that day. So she kind of missed out on that opportunity. But also, my wife is absent tonight as well. She's with her 80-year-old mother down in South Florida, working through some things down there and doing well, and I'm looking forward to her return. I wish she could have been here, but she's in my prayers, and I'm glad I have my family to support me. Also, I have to thank some of our adult leaders from the Boy Scout Troop 535 from the American Legion. No, I'm no longer a scout. My son's no longer a scout, but you know, when you're a scout, you're always a scout. And so were these adult leaders. They really came in and kind of offered me support and help. And one in particular, Pat Wilson, was one that started and said, hey, we need a website, and jumped in and got that going. And then also just he pushed me along. So I really appreciate the support from him. Jay mentioned it, our little Huntington Ridge escapade in the heat of the summer. And I just, you know, there was a couple of things. I mean, I spent a lot of time that day and other times, and I do want to say it's a really appreciate just your sharing, learning some of the ropes and getting to know something about city council and what I'm expected to or what to expect. And you know, Jay coined a word while we were up there. Remember what that word was, Jay? Jay coined a word called co-opposition. We were out there campaigning with co-opposition. It's not in the Webster's Dictionary, but thank you, Jay. Thank you for the mentorship. Anyway, it's also been a pleasure getting to know Danny Roberts and a little bit with in the city, the great men and women of the city of Loganville, and I look forward to all I have to learn going forward. And last but not least, certainly it's something to get into a political arena, go out and meet people door to door, talk to you, hear you, and have people actually vote for you and put that trust in you. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, and appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Bill Duvall, welcome. Welcome. Sit down. All right. This is a great council. You look good. All right, now we're going. Now we're just having too much fun. This is typical council. We just have fun. All right, now we're just going to open up the floor for nomination for vice mayor of the city of Loganville. As you know, this is a one-year term, and we vote on it every year. And this would be for vice mayor for 2020.
I would like to nominate Dan Ford. He's doing a great job as our current vice mayor, and yeah.
All right, so we have.
Good with that, Dan?
We have Councilman Danny Ford.
I'd like to second it.
Anybody else? Second it? All right, so we have a nomination. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to close the nominations. So.
Make a motion to close.
Make a motion to close the nominations.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? Any discussion from the audience? So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign? Sounds good. Congratulations. Vice Mayor Danny Ford for 2020. Now, I'm also going to make another motion to vote on the nomination for Danny Ford. So moved. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Any discussion from the floor? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. The The motion has been passed. All right. Now, we also got the 2020 committee assignments, and I'm gonna just read them real quick. For finance/human resources, and you guys should have gotten a copy out there, and the copy will be available to you all to the audience if you guys want it. Finance/human resources, Chairwoman Ann Hutzinger, Jay Bolden, and Lisa Newberry would also be in that committee. Public safety, Chairman Jay Bolden, Linda Dodd, and Bill Duvall would also be in public safety. Economic development, Danny Ford being my chairman, Linda Dodd and Jay Bolden would also be in that committee. Public Works, Linda Dodd, Chairwoman, Danny Ford, and Ann Hutzinger will be in that committee for Public Works. Planning and Development, Lisa Newberry, Chairwoman, Danny Ford, and Bill Duvall would also be in Planning and Development. Public Utilities/Transportation, Bill Duvall, Chairman, Ann Hutzinger, and Lisa Newberry would also be in Public Utilities/Transportation. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting. We have a motion. We have the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Meeting has been adjourned. Wonderful. All right. I'm gonna introduce, if she wants to come up. She is a great, let me tell you, I've gotten to know Renee Oderman. She was a former mayor. There's a picture, by the way, somewhere. There she is up there. She was a former mayor of the great city of Loganville, and she is now running for District 6 for Congress, right? Renee Oderman, 7? 7. There you go. But come on up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to be here with the citizens of Loganville and the city council. And Skip, where did you go? There you are. Thank you very much for your years of service. It's been an honor to serve with you. And all the staff, you know, oftentimes the city council and the mayor gets addressed, but oftentimes the firemen and the police chief and the police officers and the public works officials and all the accoutrements, all the staff that goes to support a local government, they never get thanked and they never get recognized. So I know from coming from the position of being a former mayor how important it is to have that team that is behind you. I did come to the city council meeting in November, and it was my honor and privilege to be here when you had the Purple Heart City for the veterans. But unfortunately, at that time, I had to leave for another engagement, and I promised that I would come back. And I can't tell you, coming back means a lot of things to me, because the city of Loganville is my roots and my foundation. And it really, in my mind, is hard to believe that I first got elected as the first female, and I'm told the only female mayor that has ever served in this city. It's hard to believe that that was in 1986. And it is also hard to believe 30 years later, I am still elected. And it's even harder to believe, if you can believe this, I've never lost an election. Woo. And I can tell you it comes from that foundation and exactly from what I learned in this room, even though it was probably a half a mile away down at the old city hall. And what I learned is the most important part of local government is its citizens, and that you truly are a public servant. And it's a very humbling, just like it was here tonight with the city council members getting sworn in. It literally brings tears to your eyes, because they are putting all faith, all trust, and all transparency in you to literally where the rubber meets the road with local government to serve them. And you truly are a public servant. And throughout my whole political career, that has been the mantra in my mind that I have followed. I have never, ever forgotten where I came from in the city of Loganville and calling Loganville home for over 25 years. And I only have one story. I could write a book, literally, because it was literally, and some of the citizens in here, my friends know that it was literally like the Wild West, because you can imagine in 1986, we were a hamlet. We were not how many people do you have now? 15,000 citizens? About 15,000. We were just a couple of thousand. And I remember knocking on every single door in the city, whether they were a registered voter or not, and wore out 2 pairs of shoes. But once I got elected, I want to tell you a little story about the very first thing that I chose to do. There was many things to do. We didn't even have a planning and zoning ordinance book. We did not have very few ordinances that controlled the city. But the very first thing I did, because our city hall was over in front of where the well is, and a very historic well. And there was talk around town that they were gonna tear that well down. Well, there was a little upheaval about tearing that well down, because the older citizens said, you know, that's our history. That's who we are and what we are, and that's what we identify with. And it was actually before the city emblem used the well. And that well did not look like this picture right here, I can tell you. It was like 4 posts, and it was leaning this way, and the roof was not a cedar-shaped shingles on it. And it was in the middle of a parking lot that was the old Sparks grocery store. You remember that? And, yeah, there you go. And what we chose to do as the first mayor and the first city council is to do the renovations and preserve and restore the old well. And then we decided it was so beautiful after we planted geraniums around it. What we decided to do was to use it as the city emblem. And that was one of the ways that it is identified today. And when you think of the city of Loganville, everyone, absolutely everyone thinks of that well. The other cute story about it was there was over and an under bet over what was in the bottom of the well. And everybody said, oh, we're gonna find 50 guns in there, we're gonna find all this stuff, you know, everybody's been throwing everything in there, they don't want anybody to find it, you know, we're gonna hide it and everything. Well, guess what? We did find 1 gun. So I just wanted to come before you, and I am on a journey. I have served as the City of Loganville Mayor for 3 terms. I served as a Gwinnett County Commissioner. I served in the Georgia House of Representatives, representing Loganville for 4 years, 2 terms. And then I went into the Georgia State Senate in the General Assembly, and I have served as a senator from Gwinnett County since 2002. My next journey, hopefully, is to go to Washington, D.C., and I am currently a candidate for District 7 in the U.S. Congress. And when I think about a plumber's daughter that started out in 1986 in the city of Loganville as a small town mayor, and the possibility of going to Washington, D.C., and serving with the President of the United States and representing the state of Georgia, it is just beyond my dreams. And I'm working very, very hard. And the reason I'm here is because this is where I started, and this is what I will never, ever forget. And this is what has put me on that pathway of success. And I am very, very grateful, not only to the citizens of Loganville, but the citizens of Gwinnett County that I've represented for so many years. So I'm not here to give a campaign speech. I'm just here to say thank you and express my gratitude, and to say how wonderful the city has grown with the astute leadership that it's had over the years. It is absolutely phenomenal. I still have my farm here in Walton County, so I spend a lot of time in Loganville, especially at Walmart and Kroger. And I just want to say it is phenomenal what you're doing. I look forward to the projected path that you're on. You're one of 15 cities in Gwinnett County and one of several cities in Walton County. But to me, you're the shining star. You will always be the shining star in my heart, and it's an honor and privilege to be able to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Renee. The only thing she asks you, don't forget Loganville when you make it to Congress. And I'm sure she'll stick around if we have any questions after that. I also want to introduce Josie Cruz. She's running for Congress for District 4. Come on in and say a few words, Josie.
Hello, everybody. I'm just here, please, I will ask you to hang with me with my accent. I have a heavy accent, okay? My name is Josie Cruz. I am running against Hank Johnson in District number 4. And I am humbly here trying to represent each city, each county, and the district. I really believe that District number 4 needs help. And the feeling about District number 4, sometimes from coming across from some people, is like, just leave them like that. And I believe that we as American citizens who love this country, who love the state of Georgia, we need to have a little love for District number 4. I really believe that. We need to show people in District number 4, especially our Black communities, that we care about them too, okay? And me as a Latino descendant who came here legally, and I followed, I followed through the process. It took me around 11, 12 years to become a citizen, and I assimilated to this beautiful country. I love the United States. I will give my life to defend the Constitution of this country, to defend the laws, because I really believe that America is the shining star in the planet. Is the last part in the planet that we can find freedom, prosperity, law, especially enforcement of the law. And we're going back to that now. One of the things that I wanted to let you know is, because I love this country so much, I wrote a book. The title of the book is What a Mess and How to Fix It. We are in a big mess. Let's face it, we are in a big mess, and I believe we need to go back to the Constitution, back to basics. And we have to save our country. If we don't do it in the city level and the community level and in the county level, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want to go to another country. I just want to help out here, and please keep me in your prayers, but mostly keep in your prayers those citizens from District number 4 who are going to be listening to my message, and that they can see the opportunities, the prosperity that can come to their families, to their personal life, to their family, and to the community. So my name again is Josie Cruz, and I'm running for the District number 4. This is my
When you make it to Congress, don't forget Loganville.
No, I won't.
All right.
Thank you so much.
And she'll stick around if we have any questions for her. Also, I got a few judges. They're running for district attorney, and Jeff Foster. These are very important people. And Jeff Foster, you want to come up? He's running for judge.
Yes. First of all, let me start by saying that I appreciate all of my church family members that coming out to see me tonight. I realize you're mostly here because you're good citizens, you're interested in what's happening in the city, and of course, Ms. Linda will take on the term. But if you'll just let me delude myself for the evening, you think that I was going to be here. I'm running for Superior Court Judge. Judge Eugene Benton is retiring. He's going to finish out his term. And so there will be an election May 19th of 2020. And I just thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for letting me introduce myself. For those of you that do not know me, I have lived and practiced law in Walton County since 1991. It is a judge of a circuit that consists of Walton and Newton County. I have been the Chief Assistant District Attorney for Walton and Newton Counties. I have been a civil litigator and a criminal defense attorney for the period of some 16 or 17 years now, in addition to my almost 10 years as a prosecutor, as a law clerk. I have literally tried everything from shoplifting to murder, and from adoption cases to zoning, and by the way, adoption are the best. So, I have a great bit of legal experience, and it's almost all been in Walton and Newton County. This has been home for me. I married a Walton County native. She's from Monroe. When we moved to Loganville in 2000, you would have thought I moved her across the country. And yet, all these years later, as we look back, we still, First Baptist Loganville is our home. I hope to have the opportunity to serve as judge from my experience both as an attorney and the breadth and depth of the things that I've been able to do over time, and that no one running for any of the positions is able to say that they've been able to. I've served as a municipal court judge for Social Circle, where I'm still a municipal court judge, also for Monroe for a period of time, and I've been a citizen magistrate. So I've seen all angles of it, but mostly when I tell people what I want to introduce about myself is, there's a lot of folks that have great legal degrees and legal experience, but I bring a set of life experiences that I think give me a unique perspective. And Walton County and this circuit have been very important to us. My wife and I have been involved in foster care. We have adopted 3 children that are foster care. I was one of the founding board members for a foster placement agency, and I only stepped off the board of directors for Uniting Hope for Children this year so that I could run for election. We've been involved in been on the board of the Pregnancy Resource Center. I've served at the Ministry Village. I spent about 2.5 years as a part-time lawyer and full-time at the Ministry Village running a homeless program, working with some of our folks. Homelessness, by the way, out here looks different. These folks that sleep in cars, on friends' couches, and at wits' end for a night or two. So some of my best friends in Hackers Homeless are the folks we've been able to help and work with through that. So, but I've learned a lot in that process. A lot of sitting face to face with folks that have come out of traumatic, horrific childhoods and battle mental health and addiction, and sort of personalizes many of the folks that end up with addiction. And I think that's an invaluable resource for me. And of course, I've had the joy and the pleasure of raising now we're grown children, 5, 6, and 7. I'll be drawing Social Security when my last one graduates high school. It's tiring. By the way, anybody that tells you that doing this the second time around, grandparents raising children, that they're wiser and they're smarter and they know how to pick battles better. By the way, that's our company line, but it's not true. You're just tired. And so if the screaming doesn't indicate blood or broken bones, you kind of say, is it worth getting up? And certainly, at the outset, it's not worth going up the steps. And so, I've been honored to be involved in and to love this community, and it has loved me. I came down here to go to law school. My family was from Nashville. We had moved around. My dad worked for DuPont. So we had bounced around mill towns until we ended up at the Pentagon for DuPont, which was Wilmington, Delaware. So I got to come back home to go to law school in Athens, and never would have thought that I would have landed in Rockland County with an internship in the DA's office and clerking for Judge Ott. So it is, we hope, the next step in God's great plan for where we go and how we serve Him. And I look forward to the opportunity. I right now am the only race that is contested. You may have seen some signs for Bob Stansfield out of Covington. Has indicated he'll be running against me for Judge Benton's seat. And I will say this, currently the implicit or the tacit understanding had always been that as long as there was an even number of judges, that Walton and Newton County would have residents from each location serving in that capacity to be equally represented on the bench for the circuit. And the understanding was also that as Newton County was historically larger in population, not in square miles, that they would have, in the event of an odd number, they would have the additional judge. And that has been the case up until this cycle, when someone from Covington has elected to run for Judge Benton's seat. Judge Benton's seat was actually the first seat that was held by Tom Ridgway in Monroe. The seat was held by Tom Ridgway and Marvin Sorrells and Gene Benton. So we hope to keep it that way. We hope to keep Walton County represented adequately on the bench and not have 80% of our judges living and communing in Covington and that being their primary area of focus. But most of all, I like to meet the folks and I like to have opportunities to share with you, and I will tell you my guiding principle as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, handling divorces, adoptions, zoning, any kind of case. No matter who is with me and in what capacity they're in, my position has always been there is a level of dignity and respect that my profession should afford them because God breathed. And I've stood next to some pretty heinous people. I've seen things that honestly, there comes a point when you retire from the DA's office because of the things you've seen. Man's inhumanity to man will wear you down. But I can tell you this, that I always endeavored to show that individual, no matter how heinous, a level of respect that they were due simply because whatever happened in their lives, whatever choices they made, God knew they deserve to be treated as a human. And that has guided my practice of law, that's guided my interactions in ministry, it's guided my interactions with my children, no matter how frustrating and seemingly inhuman they were at times, as teens in particular. And it certainly, in my plan, will guide how I interact with folks for the next. So I look forward to your support and be happy to stick around and meet folks and answer any questions about my life and my experience, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Real quick, we're gonna try to make it brief, because I don't want to leave the other two candidates, and we'll open it up. Hubert Brooks, you want to say a few words real quick, and then Randy. Go ahead, either one. This is the reason why I'm doing that, because this is very important. We're gonna have a very exciting election, and I want you guys to know who's running in your community. So this is key, this is very important. Go ahead, Hubert.
I am Hubert Owens. I'm a Purple Heart Army Combat Veteran, Army Ranger, so 4 tours in Iraq. I want to apologize for Loganville for not being a top priority. My opponent has been in office since 2010 or 8 and never came to a single meeting. But what you expect from a liberal? But I would never forget my community of Loganville. It's part of my district. And me and Ray, we talk very hard how to improve it. I just want to, my main goal is to serve and protect my community the way I did for my country for 12 years as a Ranger. I also, I was still waiting for President Trump to give my re-enlistment papers to go fight in Iran, but I'm 4 tours is enough. I'm for Second Amendment. I'm for the protect the babies. And most definitely for those who want to support small businesses and don't support our communities and our schools. Thank you. Vote for me, District 93.
Thank you, Hubert. District Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. My name is Randy McGinley. I'm currently the Chief Assistant District Attorney. And as Jeff already pointed out to you guys, it is a circuit, which means 1 and 2 counties. And I'm running for District Attorney as my boss. The current DA, Logan Zahn, is running for the other judge seats that Judge Osborne was Newton County retiring. And so my boss is running for his seat, and so I'm running for her position as District Attorney. I've been your Chief Assistant DA since January 1st, 2017. I've been a prosecutor my entire law career. I graduated law school in 2011 and began as a prosecutor in Newton County, and that's all I've done. I prosecuted Newton County, then I came to Walton County. I made a little career decision to go to DeKalb County for 6 months and came right back to Walton County. For a number of reasons. One being family. My wife and kids live here. I have an almost 4-year-old and a 5-month-old. So tired as well. And my wife and I lived in Walton County for about 4 years now. Like I said, I've prosecuted this circuit pretty much my entire career, except for a very short time. It is a great circuit. I hope to continue that. A lot of you, I'm going to echo what some of the council said earlier, is that today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And as you guys living here in Loganville have to understand, you guys have a great police department. Mike and Big, you guys really do have a great law enforcement here in Loganville. It really is amazing. We work very closely with them. Obviously, it's a strange thing because they're also in Quebec County, which is a little bit different than a lot of law enforcement agencies. But we prosecute, essentially in Walton County 2019, we opened 3,200 plus cases in our office. And that is a lot of cases. It grows every year. We open another 3,600 in King County, so we have 7,000 cases that we prosecute every single year. That is everything. There's no state court or solicitor's office. So we prosecute everything everything from shoplifting and DUIs and batteries on up to murders and rapes and child molestations. And as your chief ADA, my election's a little different, as the DA is a partisan race. The judges is non-partisan. So their election is in May, the DA's race is partisan. So as of right now, I will not have any opposition in May. I see that changing. I'll have opposition in November in the general election. And I'm the only candidate who's actually managed vote offices, ran vote offices. As the chief assistant, that is my role, along with the DA, is to manage vote offices. We have about 60 employees, 23 attorneys, which makes us by far probably the largest law firm in both counties by a lot. And we prosecute and handle things. A lot of people will say, well, why does the district attorney matter to me? You know, in your day-to-day life, why does that matter? I will tell you, pretty much everybody, if you have not, at some point in your life, you will be a victim of a crime, or someone close to you will be a victim of a crime, or you will be charged with a crime, or someone close to you will be charged with a crime. And you want an office that is fair, that is also tough, that takes up for victims and stands up for victims of crimes. Because what you guys want is a city that is safe, right? I mean, as the city is growing, it needs to continue to be safe, though. So people want to live here, and you can raise your family and raise your kids here. That's what you want. But you also want a prosecuting office that's going to be fair to everywhere. One of the hardest jobs as a prosecutor is understanding the difference between people who are evil individuals who are just going to continue to commit crimes and those that made a mistake or have addiction problems. Jeff kind of brought that up a little bit from some of his experience, but that's a lot of things that we deal with as well. Is we have resource courts, which are accountability courts, drug courts, and mental health court that help a lot of people. It doesn't just help them, it also helps the citizens, it helps the taxpayers. You have people who are arrested for the same crime over and over and over and over again, just throwing them in jail doesn't do any good for them. Getting them off, on the medicine they're supposed to be on and off addiction problems, it really does help. And that's a big thing for our office for the non-violent crimes. Obviously, violent crimes are handled in a much different way. But I'm asking for your support. Again, thank Mayor for having me. I really appreciate it. I announced Mayor Martinez is one of the first people I reached out to. He's been a great individual, great support, learned a lot from him. I ask for your support. I'm going to stick around as well. If anybody has any questions, look up Randy McGinley on Facebook for District Attorney or Randy McGinley for districtattorney.com and learn more about me. If you ever want to call me or reach out to me, send me an email. That's one of my things is always just be very open. The District Attorney's office, a lot of times, a lot of people don't know what they do. But my goal is to be very, very open and just, I have my cell phone, as my wife hates it. My cell phone is on 24/7. I take calls from anybody at any time. Law enforcement will respond to the scene sometimes of crimes or help them with legal issues at 2, 3 a.m. And that's not going to change when I become district attorney. So I ask for your support. If you have any questions or concerns or anything, please just come talk to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randy. Anybody else running for public office? All right, now, your floor. Anything, Janice? I know you always got something to say.
Today I've heard all these people talk about what they want to do for everybody. I do something for very special people. We have about 300 children in Walton County that are special needs, and that's who we represent. And this, I just want to tell you tonight, I want y'all to hear me too, I want to turn it back to everybody. And I always fuss about the microphone, so if you can't hear me, raise your hand and I'll go to a microphone. The spaghetti dinner. I saw this little boy in kindergarten. Okay, can everybody hear me now? Because I want you to hear this. This is very important. Dustin, can you hear me back there? Yes, ma'am. Very good. We sponsor a spaghetti supper, and we've been doing this for about 17 years now. We're Walton County Special Olympics, and this spaghetti supper brings in about usually $3,000. It's a lot of hard work. We have some wonderful, wonderful volunteers, and we want all of you to come and eat. I have some flyers if you need one. Has some of our kids on it. We have almost 300 children in Walton County in special needs. Every penny that we earn goes to these children. We send them to all the events that they're able to go to. We furnish all the food for them. We buy their shirts. We buy all of their equipment. And I'll tell you now, we had at our meeting, we meet the first Tuesday night of each month at my house. We had 6 people there last night, and these 6 people volunteer their services for everything we do. The Walton County Board of Education does not give one dime to special needs. We furnish all their transportation. We do everything for them. Our budget runs about $20,000 a season. And if you think these children are not the most beautiful people in the world, you are so right. They are the sweetest kids. And we've grown, Harold and I have grown to love all of them. And just, when you look at the picture on this, you'll see two of our very special children. That one is 31 and the other is 32. And they've just fallen in love. And they are the sweetest people, and every morning, I have to share this, every morning on my Facebook, the first thing I see is Angela. And she says, "Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Lord, for giving me another day. And I ask that you would bless and keep all of my family and friends." And she always puts me a little footnote down there that says, "I love you, Miss Tribble." And you know, that is the most wonderful feeling in the whole world. And come and eat with us. Listen, the kids come and help. And it's right across the street at the Baptist church. And please come. You see so many people. There's so much fellowship, so much love. And believe me, these kids love you. Danny, did you hear everything I said?
Can you repeat the last 4 parts?
Are you sure now? Anyway, thank y'all all for coming. And you know what? I think it would be wonderful if every time we had a council meeting, all of you would be here, because it's very important that you take part with your town. I think in the last, Harold and I have been married 57 years, and probably in the last 57 years, we've missed probably, would you say 3 council meetings? 2 or 3. I was almost late tonight. Danny told me I was almost late. But I also served on the council for 3 terms. And I also still help with everything I can in the city. We have the most wonderful public safety in the world. And we love all of them, and tonight's their night. So I want to say thank you to all y'all.
Thank you.
Oh, February the 1st. They told me I'd tell you what day. First day of February. We always have it the night before the Super Bowl.
You got flyers to pass out, right, Janice?
I have got some flyers.
You got some flyers, so come see.
I got them.
You got flyers? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? It's your floor. Come on up, sir. State your name. You can come on up here. And...
Good evening. My name's Terry Parsons.
Okay.
And I live in Loganville.
Now, is this regarding the development and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make it, just don't repeat yourself. We'll make it 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
start
No,
your
I
question.
don't
Go
know.
ahead. Go ahead.
Don't know. It's
Yeah.
short.
Go ahead.
I'm glad to hear that y'all have heard our concerns. It means a lot to us. I hope that in that time that y'all were kind of suspending any movement forward with the development. Is that what I'm hearing, or y'all just, because what we heard at the meeting, at least what I came away with, was that this thing's still rolling forward. Is this, in this evaluation y'all doing, is this gonna slow things down?
I'm gonna let our city manager, but I ain't gonna tell you, no decisions have been made yet about this. But I'm gonna let our city manager, Danny Roberts, answer some of those questions that you're gonna
Yeah,
ask.
Mr. Parsons, no, we haven't slowed down. We've hired a company to validate the numbers we were given from the developer. As far as, number of apartments, cost of apartments, square footage, that's what we hired to do a market study to make sure what he's telling us can support, the area can support it. So as far as, have we stopped? No, this is gonna get to a point where it gets slower because we're in the middle of negotiating now. Attorneys get involved, so it tends to slow the process down. The first part was just getting the land assembled. And that's what that presentation was tonight was, you know, we couldn't come to you from day one and say, okay, we're gonna do this project, and we hope the landowners will participate because the value of land was went sky high. So the last 7 months, they've been trying to assemble property. What you saw was property that was under contract, and that project was identified and then sent to the public saying this is what we're looking at to do. And we still have not heard a response from the Northeast Georgia region, but we hope to get that response back in the next 30, 45 days, and then we'll move forward. But as far as the project stopping, no.
Okay, so what Conley said about y'all breaking ground on June of this year, that
Well,
was.
August, they would like to do it August, but, you know, that's something that he wants. I don't know if we'll meet that timeline, but that's just a timeline we have to put in the packet.
Right, but there was some confusion that I came away with, because the council was saying nothing's been set in stone, but then Mr. Conley stood up there and said, yeah, we're gonna start breaking ground.
No, he said he would like, his anticipation would be to get this
Well,
done, start
you know,
as soon as
you know, in
possible.
politics, like and do about the same thing. So, that's the reason why I wanted that. One other thing, the number of apartments versus condominiums, is that still something that's up in the air, or is that a firm number y'all talking
No,
about?
that's what we hired the company to do, was look
Okay.
at those, that's part of the
Because-
market study.
Because one of the things the mayor said that I thought was interesting was in his presentation, was that you were talking about a small town feeling of downtown Loganville. Well, that consisted of residents who lived in homes, who had a vested interest, a long-term interest in the community. And if you're gonna redevelop the area, which we all agree something needs to be done, think about investing in long-term people that are gonna stay and care about the community, as opposed to putting a bunch of apartments stacked up like a box of crackers. I drive down Peachtree Industrial, I'll just go down Highway 20, I see all these apartments going in. Look to the long term, not the tax base, and look for the care of our city. That's what I'm interested in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir. Come on. What's your?
I'm Michael Barron. To start with, I'd like to thank the council and the mayor for listening to our concerns. And my concern is also with the new building development. My concern, and I know y'all said at the last meeting that you were going to do a traffic study. I live in Tyler Shoals subdivision. Tommy Lee Fuller is the road that's right in front of us. A couple years back, two big subdivisions went in right directly behind us. At the end of that road, trying to come out on State 20, you're taking a chance on your life trying to get out and in. When you get during the rush hours, the traffic lines up, you can't make left turns in. They put a right turn lane in that's blind to the people turning left. When I was looking at the website for the company that's going to be handling the redevelopment, I see that they're planning on selling the land next to Publix, and one of the things on the website it said was it's ideal for a hotel. So that's gonna put that right there at the end of that street too. Halfway down Tommy Lee Fuller from Tyler Shoals to the end at State 20, I think you had a discussion today with one of our people out of our subdivision, plans to put new apartments there or trying to get it zoned for that. All of this is all pushing together where we cannot get, I understand traffic, but we can't get into traffic. We can't get out of our subdivision onto the roads to get on State 20, to get on 78. If you try to go out the other way on 81, you can't get out there. So all of this is going together, and you know, I hope that there's gonna be some good, heavy thought in that what is approved as opposed to what new roads we can have come in or what can be done to alleviate our problems with traffic.
I'm gonna address it to Danny, to answer some of the specifics, but I am gonna tell you, our council really, and Danny Ford and Jay and Lisa could back me up, we have worked really hard on transportation, we really have. Just recently, just on Monday, me and Danny Roberts and a few of us met with ARC. ARC is Atlanta Regional Commission. You know, before, ARC has never been to Loganville. In the last few months, they've been here twice. So and GDOT does too. We are working hard on your concerns, and I'm gonna let Danny speak on some of the things that we just can't do. And Danny, can you address some of the things that we can't do?
We tried to address the intersection of Huntington and Georgia 20 along that corridor. Of course, we were denied from GDOT because it's in their plan to upgrade that road. at which point we have no idea. There's no timeline that they've given us. It was projected to be 2023. The since has been pushed back with no official date from GDOT. The council set aside a little over $600,000 to add a decel lane or turning lane for the people coming out. But like I said, it was denied from GDOT. We continue to work with them. We get told no on a regular basis, but that doesn't stop us from asking. Every time we go to them, I was telling one of your residents today, we spend close to probably $100,000 a year just on engineering fees, just to draw something to show GDOT. Anytime we go to them with a problem, we have to have an engineer study, traffic study. Those things cost tens of thousands of dollars. And every time I get told no, I get told the same answer. A bigger project down the road. Well, you know, we're tired of hearing that. Y'all are certainly tired of hearing it. We get blamed for it's a cop-out. Well, it's not our road. There's not much we can do with it other than do what the mayor and the council has been doing, is making phone calls to directors of GDOT, to representatives. The CS Lloyd 81 project, you see the barrels out there now. This is what this contract here is for. That only took 3 years to get approval. At a little over $300,000. So it's very frustrating from our end because y'all don't see it because you're not here every day. But trust me when I say this, every day I deal with engineering, traffic every single day. There is no answer other than it's being part of a long plan for Highway 20.
Well, what I would suggest is the things that you can't control like that, the things that you do have control over, such as building permits and these things that's coming in, you do control that, is that you slow those down until the highway projects catch up.
And here's a problem with that. If you're a developer and you come and ask them to do that and they deny it because of traffic, we get sued and we lose because that's against the Constitution of Georgia to do that. We cannot deny based on traffic. That's why their hands are tied when it comes, if the property is zoned for something and they want it, and the property owner wants to do it, and it's currently zoned, they will never come to them for approval.
Okay, y'all got a zoning inquest coming up in February, so I ask you to take that into consideration.
Yes, they will. But we cannot deny based on traffic. It can be brought up in the meeting.
And Mike, before you step down, I have the voter list. Did you vote in the last election?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Mike, was your answer good?
Yeah.
Was your answer? Thank you so much, and let me tell you, we're working hard on transportation. We are. Thank you. All right, hey, go ahead, ma'am. What's your,
I don't need the mic.
don't need the name. What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Dr.
Doctor?
Dot.
Dr. Doc, okay.
Jordan.
Dr. Doc.
I want to know what the citizens can do. Right, GDOT, or what can we do to confront this GDOT that seems to have more power than anybody? What can we do as citizens?
It's not that they have more power, it's their road, it's their property. But yes, you can call we're in District 1 for GDOT. You can call local representatives. Mayor can give you names of those. We have, I don't know, representatives. Mayor, who's representatives they can call that represents?
Tom Kirby represents you in here, Loganville. Bill Cowser is your senator, right, Renee? You know, call, that's what they're here for. There's Renee right there. That's what they're here for. I'm so glad you're here, Renee, because she is part of the Capitol. So there you go. These are the folks you gotta get in touch with. And trust me, we are in constant communication with them, and we tell them all the time about transportation. We're working hard on that. Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing, Karen?
What's your name? What's your name?
My name's Daniel Russell.
Dana.
Yeah. And I hear you're hiring as consultants to take a look at the plan. And I think there are a lot of concerns about the plan. And I think it might go along with these concerns if we were able to see the scope of work for this contract, for this consultant. See what they're gonna look at, what kinds of issues they're gonna tackle, if they're gonna look at the differentiation between apartments and ownership in the plan. If they're gonna compare that to other cities and whatever that might be, so we know what's coming out of this and know what to expect kind of approach we might need to take to help impact that.
No, absolutely, and that would be would that be open to the public, some of these, that would be an answer for our attorney. Would that be open to the public, some of these?
Once the contract is executed in
Yes.
5 months, yes.
Okay, would you have a contractor chosen and pursuing signing that contract? Do you have a timeline for that?
What's that? Timeline? Yeah, it's done. We've met with them today. We went over the scope. But, when you said lease to own, they're not looking at versus lease to own. They're just looking at the number of apartments in this market. Can Loganville support what he's saying? They're possibly looking at the rent, what he's proposed, what rent would be. Yet again, can it afford it? He's looking at the square footage of retail. Can that retail be supported here? And that numbers could come back, hey, we need to cut it, or hey, it's not enough. So it can go either way.
Yeah, my understanding was that he said that it would be a minimum of 800 to support commercial development.
No, he's saying that's what he's shooting for is 800. That's just so you understand this. The DRI is something we have to put on paper. They have to put on paper, the developer, to show the region commission. It's just a playbook. It doesn't mean it's going to be law. It's just saying, this is what I'm asking for. I may change it, but certainly I can't increase it, but I can take away from it. Because it impacts several other cities and other government authorities. So it goes to GDOT, it goes to the schools, it goes to Gwinnett County, it goes to the city of Snellville, because it's a regional impact. So that's why we have to do a DRI. So that was just, his, kind of like when you go buy a car, you're gonna try to shoot for the moon and walk away with something else. So this is what the developer's doing. This is what he's shooting for. It's not set in stone, but we are gonna look at it and make sure that, the biggest complaint that I think the council heard was, you're taking his word. So they came and said, well, this house has no vested interest in Conley, has no financial gain in city logo or with Conley, and let's do our own stuff. And let's compare it and see.
Does the city have the leverage to reduce that number or persuade them to reduce that number?
Yes, the city has the final say.
In terms of the
Well, it's not that you say, it's all done by zoning, so if we allow our zoning to it, then he can build to that zoning. But as far as saying you can only build 300 apartments, it has to be done in zoning. It cannot just be done just saying,
we don't work.
right, it has to be controlled by zoning, because once you do it for zoning, then he could, if they say, you know what, we're only gonna allow in this zoning 200 apartments per acre or whatever, but he could go across the street and buy another piece of property and put those in apartments there once the zoning. We can't do spot zoning, I think that's probably plat zoning, but spot zoning, we can't make your property one, the next door property something else, it has to be for everyone.
And that zoning we have now was established based on the long-term plan?
It was based on having a mixed-use development, which can be changed anytime at their design. You control it by the zone.
We will do our best to make sure that we let you know what's going on.
Old Barker. Good, gotcha.
All right, anybody else?
I'm sorry,
Go
hi,
ahead.
guys.
Go ahead.
If I may,
Yes.
just kind of piggybacking on Dina.
What's your name?
My name is Joanne Byrne, hi, I live in Topsail subdivision.
Stand up, please.
Oh, Lord. I don't like that.
Did you vote in the last election?
Question. I did not, I apologize.
That's okay, appreciate your honesty.
My husband did. So, Danny, I guess my question is to you, because I met with Danny and the mayor this afternoon, and they were wonderful, and I encourage everybody, honestly, if you have concerns, I've gone to Mayor Martinez on other things, it is open door, they're wonderful, they give me easily an hour and a half of their time today. So, just as I understood walking away from our meeting, and just kind of go with what you guys are saying, these apartments are going to happen. My concern when I spoke with them today was, does it have to be 800? Could it be 400? Could it be 500? And the way that it was explained to me by Candy, and if I'm understanding it still correctly now, the apartment numbers have to stay on the higher range, because if we do the lower range and we get these big rents, there's not going to be people move into Loganville and pay $3,000 for an apartment. So my focus all this time has been, do we have less apartments? Do we make sure that this doesn't happen? As I understand it, this is going to happen. This development is going to happen. The apartments are going to happen, and they're going to be in the several hundreds, 6, 7, possibly 800 range. Am I correct, guys?
Well, they still have to vote, but in order for this development to happen, they must be apartments. The developer will not do retail without apartments.
And
So
the
number,
apartments
right.
then,
So,
the condos, the buying.
yes, the way we explain, Joanne, is this. The council wants a high-end apartment. Well, we can't have a high-end rent, Buckhead, because people here don't have that money. So how do we get the same quality for lower rent? Well, it's simple, you have more people distribute that wealth. That's where the high numbers are coming from. Originally, this plan, when we first met with him back in March, it was 300 to 400, possibly 600. But in order to have a high quality inn and rents that our area can support, you gotta have more people to distribute that cost over. So that's where the 800 is coming from. What's that?
All right. Thanks, Joanne.
Yeah, just wanted to.
Thank you so much. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
What's-
Brittany.
Brittany.
Patricia.
Okay.
I talked to the developer when we had the meeting. He said things would be done in stages. I was worried that these apartments could become low income if they weren't filled. He said they build in stages, so if they didn't fill, he wouldn't continue building. Does this mean that he could build an apartment complex and not touch downtown? I mean, is there a stage of we're getting something out of this, or is he gonna put up and see what he's gonna get out of it before he touches downtown? Because I also got the impression that if this developer falls through or doesn't make it, no other developer is gonna come in and take up what he failed. So are we gonna end up with a half torn down downtown, which is big like the apartment buildings?
So in the contract, if they execute and sign, this is one of my things I've told the council is, the apartments have to go be phased in with retail. The last thing we want is all these apartments and no retail. We want retail, that's their desire, retail all, but no developer is gonna build without having density for his retail. So I would imagine, once we get to the point where we're writing contracts and agreement, that building so much, apartments have to have so much square foot of retail. So if the economy does crash, because nobody knows if it will or if it won't, but if it does, you won't have 800 home or apartments sitting here and no retail. So I don't feel that any developer will come in and say, we're gonna build 7 buildings for 800 homes, and God, we hope it really gets filled. What we see is, like all places, they build one building, they occupy it, they build another, they occupy it, they build another, and it gets occupied. You're not gonna see 9 buildings come out of the ground at the same time. For one, it's too much money.
I understand that. I just wanna make sure that the people that own homes and are already here are getting something out of this deal. That we make sure that in the deal, it says that he is gonna complete projects that benefit us, and not just projects that him. He's gonna say, I want the timeline to make sure that it all intertwines together, not let me build my apartment complex, and then this one, and then if I'm doing good, I'll keep going with the
So I'd
project.
imagine the council would put something in the contract that says, based on so much square feet of apartments, you could have so much square feet of retail. It's gotta be, ordinance it already says, it's called a, where's Prater, where are you at? You go home already? It's recreation, it's retail versus residential. It's a formula in our ordinance. So how much retail is how much residential you can have. And here's the thing, I keep hearing, oh my God, what happens if they don't rent? Well, guess what happens? What happens if your subdivision don't rent? You know what happens there? They lower the rent. If we become Section 8, it becomes Section 8. We don't control that. The federal government does. So I can tell you, there's a lot of y'all shaking your heads, but I can tell you, in your subdivisions, there is a lot of rental property. Because it's big money.
Brittany, did you vote in the last election?
No, but I'll be there.
All right. Thank you so much. It is now,
Go ahead.
it is now, go ahead, sir. Last word.
Where are all these renters coming from? Because when I drive up Peachtree Industrial, downtown Decatur, they are putting up multi-structures at one time. Downtown Lawrenceville's got tons, Grayson's got tons of apartments. Where are all these people? that are
Right. It's the same place when we build subdivisions, where they come.
No, that's a little bit different.
How?
How, because these people are buying residential, fee simple properties.
You sure they're buying it or are they renting?
You could have both,
Right.
I'll give you that, but not at the scale of apartments that need to be filled up from downtown Atlanta all the way out here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm riding up and down downtown Atlanta, I've gone up Peachtree Industrial, I've been up there in Swanee, I see stacks of these buildings that they're building not one at a time, not one phase at a time, they're going up all at once, and I see empty stores. Now, it's almost as though the last 8 years we went through that Great Recession never happened. Now, those shops are gonna fill up. They're not gonna be long-term, we've been here 45 years, like I've been in Loganville for 35. These shops, when the first downturn happens, just like 78 back in the downturn, those will be the first to go. So when they go, what happens to our taxes that as property owners, as a city, that becomes a real interest to us, not whether or not we're building a bunch of houses to support some apartments to support some businesses that may or may not be there. We're seeing this for the long term for us as property owners.
Right.
And these 800 people that show up, they're not long-term owners, they don't have investment in this city. That is the concern we have.
Right. And they get taxed higher than you too, because it's commercial property, it's not looked at residential.
But there's a big difference.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir,
There's a big difference
that's,
between a homeowner
we can't.
and an apartment.
Right, I agree with that.
Thank you, no, thank you so much for your time. We're gonna stick around, because I think my mayor for a day, he's got school tomorrow, it's 8 o'clock, he's getting tired. You have, all right, council member Ann Hudson has, we will stick around, and look, you could set up a meeting with us. Joanne, how was the meeting today? We gave her an hour and a half, and we would love to discuss any issues. Come by and see us, we got an open door policy, just any one of us.
So wait a second. I can't believe I'm even addressing this fake news, Facebook crap. But you gotta stop with this, we're getting kickbacks, or Danny Roberts is on the hook for a kickback. The only thing Danny Roberts gets is high blood pressure. You gotta grow up. It's not happening up here. That's number one. You know, you address the church and put the record, because you're on fire tonight, just once and for all, because all that crap about the church. Please.
There is no city of Loganville employee or elected official going to take the church across the street. We have never, not once, said anything about that, but he got put on Facebook, and you know if it's on Facebook, it's gotta be true. But I can assure you, not one single council member has given me the authority to go talk to church about condemning the property of the church. If the church wants to sell, great. If they don't, great. To my knowledge, they turned the offer down. That's great for them. It's what the church members want to do, not what City of Loganville wants to do.
Good point. Jay, this was emailed to me they said our tax dollars subsidize their moving, taking the city, and the mayor is making, I'm just like I told Joanne this morning, I don't have nothing to gain from this. Mayor and the council and the city manager and the staff, our attorney, we don't have anything to gain from this. So please, come and talk to us like Joanne did, but do not go, and I don't go on it, don't go on social media and say that we have anything to gain, because that is a lie. So Jay, thank you so much for bringing that up.
Bring us $1,000.
Thank you so much for bringing that up.
$999 on gas and travel for the city.
Because somebody, whoever this person is, makes you wonder how these politicians benefit from this partnership. What partnership? You're lying. Basically, you're lying. Okay? So, anyway, guys, come see me. Come see us, Joanne. Come see us. I gave her an hour and a half of my time, at my own time and dime, and we spoke. We had a good conversation, didn't we? Anyway.
I ended it. You would have kept going.
I would have kept going. I know it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Ann, go ahead. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh, go ahead.
There's cake and punch out the hall if anybody wants it for split.